So here we are studying the second part of integrity constraint. The first one is here first point we are going to discuss is the referential integrity constraint. This point is already studied in introduction to SQL. That is referential integrity constraint means our foreign key. Suppose that we have two tables are there. One table is called the instructor table, which has ID, name, department name, and salary of instructor. That is 4 columns are present in the instructor table. Suppose there is one more table is there, which is called the department table, which contains the department name, department budget, and salary. I'm sorry, and building. That is, if you are considering the instructor table, it has 4 columns are there. Department table has 3 columns are there. And in instructor table, we are setting the ID of the instructor as primary key. And in the case of department table, let the department name is the primary key. So department name is present inside these two tables. That is, instructor table contains the field department name. The department table also contains the field department name. But in department table, the department name is the primary key. So always whenever we are inserting a value to the instructor table, that is the department field should refer always to the department table. So that is called the referential integrity or foreign key. So referential integrity means if an attribute is used in a table which is the primary key of the other table, always whenever we are inserting values to that table, it should refer to the attribute in another table. That is, here we can see one example. That is, if biology is the department name which is appearing in instructor relation. That is, if we want to add a new instructor to the instructor relation with the department name biology, before that biology should be present inside the department table. That is, department relation must contains a department which is called biology. Then only the insertion operation will be performed. Otherwise, the referential integrity constraint will be violated. So we will get an error message if we are inserting a new instructor whose department is not present in the department table. So in other way, this will give you the explanation to the referential integrity constraint. Let A be a set of attributes. Let R and S be any two relations. And suppose that these two relations contain the attribute A. A is a set of attributes. Suppose that A is the primary key of S, and A is also, we know that inside S, A is the primary key, but same set of A is also present in R, where it may not be the primary key. So in that case, A is said to be the foreign key of R. That is, if you want to delete or insert any values to this A in R, it should always refer to the relation S where A is the primary key. So that is the concept of referential integrity, and you all know how to write the syntax of foreign key. That is, at the time of creating a table, we have, if we want to set department name as a foreign key, we have to write, after writing all the fields, all the attributes along with the type, along with the create table, we as a last statement you have to write the department name, data type, references, department. So this will be the format of defining the foreign key. So here you can see the example. As I said, department is one table in which department name, building, budget is there, and as we studied about the check integrity constraint. So here, along with the budget, the check integrity constraint is defined, whose meaning is that check always budget should be greater than 0. And primary key is the department name for the department table. So this is the information about the first table, that is the department table. This is the second table, that is called the instructor table, which contains 4 different attributes: ID, name, department name, and salary. And here also we are using the check constraint which indicate that the salary should be greater than 29,000. So always whenever we are trying to insert a value, this condition will be checked. If this condition is satisfied, if the constraint is satisfied, then only insertion operation will be performed. Then here we are setting primary key, ID as the primary key, and here also a department name is used. So it is a foreign key here because department name is the primary key in the department table. So how we will write the foreign key? Foreign key, after declaring all these variables, after writing the primary key, you put a comma, then you write a foreign key. In bracket you have to write the attribute name, which attribute is setting as the foreign key. Then you have to write the reference to the table, that is references department. So this is the way how to write the referential, how to declare the referential integrity constraint. And one point here we have to consider is that there is a chance that suppose that inside the department table, this is the main table, because here we are setting the department name as the primary key. So this is the reference table, this is the referencing table. And there is one condition, there is one chance is that suppose that we are deleting one department from the department table. Then what happens? The same department, that is that particular department, suppose you are deleting a tuple, that is the point. Suppose you are deleting a tuple from this table. So what happens here? The corresponding department, suppose if it is present in the instructor table, the condition will be violated, the referential integrity constraint will be violated. So normally what happens is we will get an error message, that is that corresponding delete operation will not be performed, it will be rejected. But suppose that if you are using a cascading reference, cascading action, with the help of a cascading action, we can avoid this problem. So what happens here is that suppose if you are deleting, there are two types of cascading actions can be performed in the case of referential integrity. The first one is called delete, cascading delete or update. So these here in these two cases the cascading will be performed based on the operation. Delete cascading means that this is the way how to write the cascading. Okay, that is after writing the create table pose, all other attributes we will write, and we will write the department name as this one. Then we are writing the foreign key, that is the department name is the foreign key here. It is referencing the department table. So here this one is the reference table, this one is the referencing table. The pose is the referencing table. So suppose that in our example, suppose in the reference table, so that is here in the department table, suppose first we are considering is the on delete cascade. Okay, on delete cascade means suppose we are deleting any tuple in the referenced relation. Referenced relation here is let it be the department table. Okay, suppose we are deleting a tuple in the department table, what happens? Normally the action will be rejected because it affects the referential integrity constraint, it will be violated. So if you are using on delete cascade, if you are deleting any particular row in the department table, that corresponding department name which are present in the referencing table will also be deleted. That is, it's if you are deleting any particular row in the department table, that means that particular department will be erased from the department. Suppose in our college, suppose any particular department is if you are deleting it from the department table, that means that it no longer exists in our college. So in that case, there may be some instructors who are working, or some courses which are related to that particular department will also be deleted. That will happen if you are using the delete cascade. In the same manner, in the case of update cascade, what happens here is, in this suppose that if you are making an updation in any of the tuple in the reference table, that is here it is in the department table, if you are making any updations, that corresponding updations will be cascaded to the referencing relation also. That is, which all the relations are referencing that particular table, that corresponding fields will be updated instead of rejecting that action. So you have to remember how to write the statements. Next is we have to study some complex check clauses. So far we studied about the check clauses in which check in bracket you will write P, that is predicate. like check salary greater than 10,000, check budget less than greater than 0. So like that we can give different types of predicates along with the check clause. So here we are going to study how a complex check clause will be we will write. That is, we can write a subquery. We can write the condition or predicate as a query. Okay. So here we can see an example. Check. This is the attribute name in a select statement. That is, instead of writing the actual value, here we are using a select statement or a subquery along with the check constraint. So here what happens is, we know that first the select query will be executed, then the attribute in this time slot ID is checked with those values. If a match is found, then whatever operation you are going to perform will be performed. But mostly, in most cases, subqueries along with the check constraints are not supported by most of the databases. So in order to overcome that problem, a new technique, an alternative solution is there that we will study later, that is called the triggers. So remember that check is another constraint. Along with the check, we will write check in bracket, we will specify the predicate. It is also possible to write a subquery as a part of the check clause, but most of the databases does not support this subqueries along with the check clause. So these are the main points you have to study. Okay. So in referential integrity, so in integrity constraint, so far we discussed the integrity constraints on a single relation. Then not null is the first constraint, then primary key, unique, check, etc. So one more thing we studied, that is the referential integrity, that is also there. So not null, if you want to set any particular attribute fields as not null, we have to specify that constraint. You know the meaning of primary key, that is, if any particular if you want to select a row uniquely, you have to set the primary key. One or more columns can be set as the primary key, and you know that what are the conditions for selecting, how you will select a primary key. Unique constraint also we study. Then next one is the check constraint. Check constraint means that if you want to check, if you want to perform any insertion or deletion or whatever operation you have to perform on a table, if it must satisfy certain condition, like any attribute value should be this one, or it should be SCT should be within this range, or like that, if you can specify different conditions using the check. Then we already studied one more point, that is a referential constraint, that is foreign key, and cascading actions in for referential integrity. What is the meaning of that? What are the two types of cascading actions? The first one is delete and on update cascading action. So if you are writing this cascading action, what happens here is that if a particular tuple in the referenced table is erased, the corresponding referencing table will the changes will be reflected. Okay, that is, if you are deleting, delete cascade means if you are deleting any tuple in the reference relation, the corresponding changes will be reflected to the referencing tables also. So that is a delete cascade. So the use of update cascade similarly is that if you are making any updations in any tuples in the reference relation, the corresponding changes will be reflected to the referencing relation also.